Hey everyone, this is Leonard Lee, Executive Analyst at NextCurve, and welcome to this very special episode of the Rethink Podcast, live here from Barcelona, Spain. And guess why we're here? We're here because of, shut up guys. We are here because of MWC 2026 and also IoT Stars. Even though IoT Stars made a very small presence this year, it was a great event. And I'm here with the IoT giant, Marc Pous. Pous. I got it right this time. Yeah. Who is with Edge Impulse, which was acquired by Qualcomm. Actually, works for Qualcomm.
1 year ago, yeah. 1 year ago, actually.
Yeah, and then, of course, Earl Lum, the legendary Earl Lum of EGL Wireless. And what we're going to do here is we're going to recap MWC 2026, I think, over a glass of vino.
Many glasses of vino.
So, if you're really interested in getting the real take, the unfiltered, brutal take from what happened at the Fira Gran, is it the Fira Gran, what do they call it? The Fira?
Yeah, Fira Gran Via.
Oh, Gran Via. You're at listening to the right podcast. You're watching the right podcast.
And actually, I can talk as well about the Tallinn Arena, which was the second edition this year that happened in the old Fira in Plaza España. And there were almost about 50,000 students and developers going there to attend technical talks, workshops. It was super amazing, high quality content. These type of communities or target audience that usually don't go to Mobile World Congress. And they are trying as well to acquire that type of audience as well. It was super interesting.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
So you actually made it in?
Yeah, it was 3 days there. So I gave 4 workshops. So there was workshops for 100 people. So there were even people standing sitting in the floor.
On the aisle and stuff?
Yeah, amazing. So it was very well attended and everyone following the 1 hour workshops, and it was super interesting events as well.
Okay. Great. So I want to clarify something for our audience. Okay. So the camera is playing tricks on you. He is not the smallest person in the room. He's freaking gigantic.
Yes, and if you see the pictures every year that we take and post, I will be up to maybe his waist, if I'm lucky.
Yeah. So, no, it's really wonderful to hear. And, one of the things, so it's great that they actually had real programs for some of these, graduates or, college students who are interested in the industry. But one of the things I thought was maybe a disservice, and I posted this on LinkedIn, is all these humanoid robots and stuff like that, right? And, it was bad enough that there were dogs, right, that were stealing the attention of everyone, making them think that, if I get into telco or if I get into IoT, I'm going to be involved with building these dogs or humanoid robots. But telco has very little to do with any of that stuff, right?
No, it's the connectivity of those dogs and those humanoid robots and everything else.
That's solved, no? I mean, 5G connectivity was a thing
pretty much
2 years ago, right?
Yeah. But I think the connectivity becomes relevant for these types of devices when you're talking about defense, critical communications.
But do you think robots? It's one of the examples of edge AI. So that means that the intelligence it's running into the robot itself takes decisions, no?
Right, but then a lot of times they're autonomous unless you're just doing orchestration or, trying to, maybe foster swarm intelligence of some kind.
Well, there's different kinds of robots, right? There are robots that deliver food in a restaurant here. There are robots that are manufacturing robots for private networks, and then there are the dogs from Boston Dynamics or whatever that you see out there.
Scary dogs, yeah.
Samsung.
Yeah, and so whatever kind of robots you're talking about, they're each different. Some of them, like the AGVs in a manufacturing floor, all they're doing is delivering things from point A to B or whatever, right? So that should be simplistic.
Yeah.
And not a lot of thinking there, although you still need to have some amount of intelligence. And to the full scale of let's just swarm a bunch of other things running around, out there from a military perspective is going to need a lot more intelligence and autonomy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, defense was one of the big topics, actually. And it was folded in, or at least it was a bit adjacent to the growing interest in sovereign XYZ, right? I think this year nobody would sovereign, really cool buzzword, not quite sure how to make that happen or treat that with mobile infrastructure or telco infrastructure or IoT infrastructure, but especially with what's going on right now in the Middle East, which happened as we were flying in.
Yes, thankfully,
Thank you.
we were going over that direction where a lot of people couldn't make it to MWC because of the disruptions, right?
Yeah, but I think that was like a bit of a curveball, right? Because I think the topic of sovereignty, which was really a big topic this year, it was a little bit more related to sovereignty around AI, right?
Yeah.
They couldn't really, telco sovereignty, mobile wireless sovereignty, it's a different beast because 5G has really fostered this global regime around wireless technologies, standardization of technologies, standardization and commonality globally for a lot of things that support this global ecosystem. And now the introduction of sovereign has been, I think, a bit of a weird thing that actually threatens a lot of stuff that has been achieved through this 5G era.
I have a stupid question about sovereignty.
There's no stupid questions.
Is this not another word for saying this is an on-premise solution?
It is in country somewhere as a solution, as opposed to distributed across many other countries, right, for your storage of data. So if you are in France, then whatever customers that are in France, their data could have been previously stored all over the place around the world in data centers, right? Now the question is obviously for very, very sensitive data, as long as it's in France somewhere.
The data cannot.
Right, but if it's a health situation where health data, I don't even think they talk about sovereignty. That would be really more on-prem in the hospital just because of regulations and all of that.
Those are regular, but even then, that is still a sovereignty thing because it's you want your citizens to be protected.
This is for you guys.
You want the local privacy regulations, whether it's for a vertical like healthcare or otherwise, to be maintained, right? And that's why this topic of privacy, right, is such a complex thing. And so anyone who's done, like back in the day, I used to do post-merger integration work for the pharma industry. So when you saw a lot of these large pharmaceutical companies basically do these multi-transaction sometimes exchanges, dealing with the data, making sure that you handled the data correctly, you transmitted the data correctly. The regulations around that, around the globe, is literally a spaghetti mess. So if you're a systems integrator, you had to deal with so many policies, and you were working with legal almost all the time. And back then, these policies were really difficult to institute in the migration process, right? Today, maybe it'll be a little bit easier, but that goes to show you how, even back then where I think the sharing and the movement of data had less friction than what we have today. Now that friction is becoming really, really intense because of the sensitivities, right? Things that are happening around.
Yeah.
The fragmentation of the geopolitical landscape. So, anyways, I'm talking too much.
Now, the extreme case of sovereignty is I'm trying to put a data center in space. Am I trying to skirt legalities of a specific country because I'm not domiciled physically in a country, and in space I have no legal issues, right? So if I'm a company that doesn't want anyone to know what I'm doing, and I put a data center up in space, how are they going to know what's going on, right? So that's the extreme version of sovereignty in that definition.
Why can't you just set up a data center in the middle of the ocean in international waters? And that
you could probably call it, pirate cloud, right?
Yeah. Pirate cloud.
Pirate cloud.
Is that a private cloud?
Yes,
Okay.
It's pirate cloud, like pirate radio. You're 20 miles offshore and you're in international waters. Theoretically, no one can touch it.
Yeah.
So maybe you put a data center on the ocean floor or something.
So we're back. We took a break because we wanted to order food, and by the way, this place, which is called, what's this place called again? Oido.
Oido. O-I-D-A.
Is amazing, and it's kind of like a hole in the wall in the middle of some weird neighborhood in Barcelona.
It's Gracia. It's the neighborhood of Gracia, the favorite for tourists.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
What's it called again?
Gracia.
Gracia? Oh, okay. All right.
But yeah, if you see this, give them business.
Oh yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, fantastic. And then last year we were at one of their sister restaurants called Fondo.
Fonda Pepa.
Yeah, Fondo la Pepa. In Fondo, right? Yeah, it's like one of the train
It's
stops.
nearby. It's like 15 minutes walking from here in the same neighborhood in front of the Bitcoin ATM.
Yes, I remember
That's
the
right,
Bitcoin ATM.
So anyways, let's go around. What were your big takes and impressions and insights from MWC 2026 this year?
A lot of the companies that I talked to were drifting in the ocean of telecom, not knowing which direction to go because they were not selling anything in 5G. They didn't know what was 6G, and there was little hope, is what I saw from a lot of companies in terms of where they were going to be, which was way different than the prior generations of 4G, etc., where you really knew what was going on. But with China done and most of Europe and everywhere else, if you're a hardware guy, what can you sell and where is now the issue and the problem.
Wow, that's a deep insight.
So, and again, I came here with zero hope.
Yeah. What about you?
Zero. So as I mentioned before, I was at the Tallinn Arena with developers and students. And one of the takeaways is that all of them are super interested on AI. From edge AI to agentic AI.
Okay.
There were robots everywhere. I think that's gonna be fast.
Okay.
A fast adoption, basically, of these technologies by developers, students, so on. I don't know if it's scary or not. Still need to decide.
Yeah. Well, what does that have anything to do with MWC? Do you think MWC is then going to change as a conference and the attention's going to move toward AI and physical AI? I mean, everyone's trying to create a physical AI story, right?
It's weird, Telco selling, no? We were talking about that. Telco selling physical AI and I don't know, it's... But I'm not sure how AI is applied, for example, on all the telco, all of these. Last year we were talking about these AI run.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how these evolved in the last year.
It actually evolved pretty well, but not in the way that NVIDIA would like.
Okay.
One of the things that I think is a real bright spot for AI, So the killer AI is not generative AI. It's not agentic AI. It's called machine learning. Yeah,
ML.
hot. And this is one of the things that I've mentioned on IoT Coffee Talk several times. One of the big benefits of generative AI, all this investment, all this, hardware, accelerators, the silicon technologies, interconnect, is going to benefit machine learning, right? It drives the cost down, makes it much more economical, allows machine learning in particular to propagate out toward the edge. And that's why all of a sudden we're seeing all this excitement about edge AI.
Yeah.
Right? So shout out to Pete Bernard, our brother, and IoT and Edge AI Foundation. But I mean, that is really that catalyst that's making machine learning in particular very exciting. And even if you look at, Pete might argue to the contrary, but for the most part, you look at Edge AI, it's machine learning, right? ML ops, ML tooling, all these things have gotten much better. The libraries are massive now, right? Think about it. So, model builders, AI solution providers can tap into this vast resource now that wasn't there before. But, what we're seeing with the operators with the AI ramp is very, very difficult to get like transformer based or some of these more robust AI models, reasoning models, if you will, close to the radio. In fact, one of the hot areas, and this is something I wrote about a long time ago, is the RAPs, which are, what they are basically these wrappers for automation. It can be AI based, it can be, programmatic scripts that drive automation at an orchestration layer, which is called the SMO. It's part of the whole Open RAN framework, right? ORAN framework. And that's becoming really hot now. And the ecosystem is starting to build, but it's at a higher level, right? And above that, you're seeing some companies trying to do some, agentic stuff. Like Ericsson announced that they have a partnership with AWS to offer what's called RApps as a service. The whole idea of it is you're using Bedrock Strands, a lot of the AWS, agentic frameworks above the SMO so that you can do, intent-driven management orchestration of the network. But also Qualcomm, the guys at Qualcomm with EdgeWise, which is Qualcomm's SMO, they also have a very similar thing that they actually announced at MWC 2006 as well. So, but all the stuff it's early. But the thing that actually is making an impact, and where operatives are actually seeing value, right?
Yeah.
It's like friggin' ML, and here's the thing.
It's operations, the back end.
Yeah.
Maintenance, monitoring of radio links. Are they degrading? Can you see when they're gonna die? Because most of the time, you don't want to wait for the fault alarm on the network before you do something, because it's too late. So how do you do that predictive analysis? Over the last 14 days, this node has been degrading, and it's probably going to have something bad happen to it. So how do you go out there and fix it before it actually gets to the point where it's failed? Those are not sexy things.
No.
Yeah.
But those are the things that save the operator money.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so, all these people that are in the conference looking at these friggin' humanoid robots and stuff and thinking, oh, that's so cool. I posted, if you thought that this is the coolest thing here, you number one, you've completely missed the boat, and you're focusing on the most trivial, stupid thing at Mobile World any Mobile World any conference.
The shiny object, right?
Yeah, right. And so anyone anyone who has written that humanoid robotics was the thing at MWC Next year, don't come back.
Right. You know
And
what?
throw away your laptop.
And one of the cool things that you might have missed at the Fujitsu booth was the ability to be Godzilla and make your own Godzilla film by acting out acting things.
Well, no, but see, the reason why I say this is we've seen this in IoT. The thing that pisses me off more than anything is like jokers that go around saying that human robotics are the biggest thing at a mobile wireless conference, and then having guys that are working on our apps actually doing things that are helping operators get absolutely no attention. Do you know what I'm saying? And they got zero attention. These are the companies that are doing something
that's real.
With machine learning. That's real. Right? And they get zero. That's the crime of hype. And why, these guys that go around looking at the shiny objects and making a big deal out of it, distracting all the attention away from people, that holds the industry back. We saw that with metaverse. We're seeing that with agentic AI. We saw that with Copilot. By the way, Copilot was a flop.
What do you mean?
Copilot, 3 years ago, when they tried to make Copilot everything and front end everything with like ChatGPT, flop. I don't think I've spoken to a single ISV that went head first with the Copilot thing 3 years ago. None of them have made that revolution, right? But then you have all these guys that were doing simple, stupid. Let me take that back. It's not stupid stuff. It seems stupid to people who don't know, but these simple, boring things like intelligently shutting off a radio or a sector or whatever, right? Saving a operator 20% on their OPEX for energy.
Or improving field tickets and all those other things that are kind of boring but are critically important for your network operations, how much you spend on that going forward, and ultimately, obviously, getting rid of people, right?
Yeah.
At some point.
Intelligent link adaptation, all these things that enhance the user experience, right? These are like the things that are important, not like a friggin', robotic dog.
Yeah.
Right? So, anyway.
And what do you think about the 6G? Has been a lot of noise about 6G. This.
I don't know. Do you guys hear anything?
I know what the term is, or I think I know what the term is, supposedly. And that it's a sensing network of some type, but some of the people that I talk to, are we just creating a bunch of radars on a macro network for 6G?
Pretty much.
Right? Let's just call it what it is. It's a radar.
It's a radar. It is.
Right?
Actually,
it's a radar.
I talked to John Smee about it.
Radar.
And I said, it's basically a radar. Yeah. I talked to the guys.
And a lot of people may disagree with that, but you know what? It's a radar, man.
But, it's all part of the infrastructure becoming cyber physical. So my key top saying for MWC 2026 is, how like everyone's talking about physical AI and they get the robotic dogs and the friggin' humanoid. The network is the telco industry's physical AI, right? Because that's what you have to care about. Not the robotic dog, not the humanoid, not all this other stuff. It's the network, the air interface. It's the UE plus the network and allowing them to work better together, be more adaptable, right? And then take things to the next level. But then we have all these people that somehow think physical AI is all the stuff that particular company is defining it as, and it's not right. But actually, it's a rehashing of stuff that's already been there before. It's just people are discovering, it's people who don't know that are going to discover physical AI is stuff that's been there before for a really long time.
Yeah.
Right?
But going back to your question about 6G, is it going to be late? Probably. To what degree do people care about it?
Yeah.
Maybe little. And that scares everyone at this show because without that G driving some demand and hype, what are they going to sell?
Yeah, well, I mean, I did talk to I did have a conversation with Eric Quidin, who is the CTO of Ericsson, as well as John Smee about this. And you know, the odd thing is they don't want to suggest. They want to suggest that it's a software upgrade, right?
But you need
Just because that's
hardware.
And the IoT thing.
Yeah, sort of. It's like just a software thing, right? It's not like a physical hardware thing. But I don't.
But it kind of is. Because today's base stations are not radars.
Yeah. And
So
then-
you need that radar, which is a physical asset you have to buy,
Right.
which is that capex cost for the operator to go deploy that. And I've been telling people that whatever hopes and dreams you may have for 6G, it'll be half the number of volumes of units you had for 5G. Because people are going to have to do RAN sharing. A lot of network sharing is going to have to happen for 6G just because of the economic costs of deploying that technology and all those radars.
But one thing that a lot of people have been talking about related to 6G, which actually is also related to 5G Advanced, is Uplink. So there's a lot of conversation about Uplink, and you know, people scratch their heads wondering why cellular IoT didn't take off. Well, number one, it wasn't differentiated, right? Versus LoRa and all these other lower costs, where the module cost was much lower, right? That's all the reasons why VIT really didn't take off outside of China, right? You know, we've had endless conversations.
We talk about
that.
I think I already forgot. We talked too many times about this.
Yeah, but you know, but I think quite frankly, I think they haven't really thought through what the hardware changes need to be. They think that, oh, it's just going to be a flip of the switch. But I think in the next couple of years, there's going to be, as you get closer to the actual time frame where, you know, thinking around 6G is more sure, there's going to be a realization you're going to need new hardware or some new hardware. It might not be a complete replacement, but you need something to support these new features, and it's not just a software upgrade.
Well, if not the Nokia, Ericsson, Huawei will be really sad about 6G if they cannot sell an infrastructure.
Yeah, well, you know, but there's that, but then there's also how do you achieve some of these new features that move the ball in terms of evolving mobile wireless technologies, the infrastructure, as well as computing, right? Because mobile computing, when we look at all these new classes of devices, you know, like with Qualcomm's, what is it, Snapdragon Wear Elite.
Yeah.
You know, they're trying to usher in all these AI. Well, stuff doesn't really run all that great on today's, 5G NSA, primarily 5G NSA networks, right? I mean, some people argue that, oh, it's okay, but you need to, in many instances, probably use like RedCap, right? For the, the link budget as well as the power budget that you have to, deal with these form factors. So
I think the whole issue about 6G is will it make less money than 5G is made? And is there going to be this issue where do I have to do it, which is probably yes, but how much of that do I do, knowing that I didn't make any money on the last one? This new one's probably not going to make money. And so we still haven't answered the question of how we make money.
Well, but this has been on the table, this topic since 4G, right?
Right. 4G made money because of the data and all this, but did it cap out? Because we didn't pay any more for 5G. We get more data. Do we need 10 gigabits per second for 6G? Someone maybe.
no.
Yeah.
Not me. So, and I don't want to pay any more. Because what is it that I'm gonna critically need as an application that I don't already have today that I don't know I need in the future?
Yeah, but I mean, but the thing is this is where I found the mindset or the sort of the new thinking of how you innovate on top of new infrastructure, new capabilities is not there. Like, for instance, with network APIs, everyone's still scratching their heads wondering, how do you monetize network APIs? Well, first off, you're probably not going to monetize network APIs. It's going to be whatever kind of service or new capability that you're able to deliver to the end user.
Yeah.
Right? And then how well is that whole stack understood from the network capabilities that are being continually expanded, enhanced through like these 5G upgrades, transition to 5G SA, and then broader deployments, right? Coverage, availability, these are all going to continue to expand, but who's thought through that whole stack? And actually, there's not a lot of people who've done that. And that's why monetization continues to be a question mark, because you need to have a service.
Yeah.
That's how you monetize. But then if you don't have an architecture for defining services, differentiating services that capitalize on what's different, then you're never going to be able to monetize beyond what you are familiar with. And that's the problem. People are thinking in terms of monetization based on their legacy thinking versus, and then also referencing a bunch of use cases that have been proven. Well, initially were not very well thought out. There was just like people just like guessing, and people continuing to work off the same PowerPoints that we saw 5 years ago. I mean, honestly, it's like kind of a joke.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, have we had enough to drink? Did you try this?
No, I have not.
You should.
Give that a try.
Yes, this restaurant is very, very good. Very good. So what else did you think was cool? Any IoT stuff, Mr. IoT Giant?
Let me think about that. Well, one thing that well, it's all AI actually. What I've seen, but something interesting was I had a meet and greet with Steve Aoki, the DJ, the famous DJ.
Oh yeah.
I explained how he's starting to introduce AI in his creativity concept, how he's embracing AI. He says that it's still not good enough to he said something like to accept the AI generated music into his catalog of songs. However, it starts to be like a good tool to get ideas or to get the specific moments of songs or techniques to apply on his new music.
Yeah.
The funny story is that he was basically inspired by Ray Kurzweil and the singularity concept from 15 years ago.
Oh, really?
Right? So it's still being inspired by that. What else? Well, I have been a lot with the Arduino people who has a really, really interesting single board computer and very low cost, and people love it. So it's a Raspberry Pi with a microcontroller very well integrated to have like real time operations that allows you to do that you can do with the usual Arduino microcontroller, but with this dual brain of having a Linux Debian device on the other side where you can do more high level programming, both can reach with the protocol, and that was super interesting to see the engagement of the people again for the Arduino brand.
Yeah.
And honestly, I've been only 1 hour at Mobile Congress, so I haven't seen much.
Yeah, that's one hour more than Dean Bubbly.
Oh, come on, Leonard.
I saw him at the Amdocs party, so yeah.
He's gonna hate you for that.
No, he'll love me for it. He knows. He's proud that he doesn't go to the Fira. So, but it's sovereignty. We talked about sovereignty. We talked about AI, 6G. I think they tried to make this about telco neocloud. I don't know how much it.
What is
really
neocloud?
Neocloud, like GPUs and trying to create like sovereign data centers.
Oh yeah, we were talking about sovereign data centers before.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of the companies that are doing it feel like the resource constraint, not being able to get GPUs. Then when you ask them, so what are you doing with this stuff? They don't really have a good answer. It's like, we're building it and hopefully somebody can scale out on that application once they figure out the value of it. And so it's like, the thing that worries me is that a lot of the companies that are doing this are like the South Korean companies.
Okay.
And the one thing that bugs me is this: during the metaverse hype cycle, I'm speaking to you, Korean companies. They held on to metaverse, even though it collapsed 2 years before. They were the only ones still sticking around with startups and companies going and setting up metaverse booths, and it was a friggin' joke. And so my fear is that they're going to hang on in this very expensive game of the neocloud game, right? And so and the reason why I say this could be very unfortunate is like everyone likes to say, oh, there was nothing, this is real. Right? AI is real, and AI infrastructure, all this investment, it's real, and ChatGPT really does real things. Well, guess what? So did Metaverse. It did. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, the technology was there. You can get immersed in some goofy cartoon, cyberspace, and people were dropping Snoop Dogg millions of dollars on digital real estate.
Yeah.
Think about that. Right? I mean, grown-ass adults dropping hundreds of $1,000s on digital real estate.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, I have to laugh. I mean, what do you think now? Okay, in retrospect, now that Metaverse is over, NFTs are a joke. What do you think in retrospect? But this is the kind of stuff that this industry has taken seriously at that time.
Yeah.
It was the headline. We took it. I didn't take it seriously. I called it BS from the beginning, but the industry took it 1,000% seriously.
But don't you think that the industry at that moment thought that they could accelerate the adoption of technologies? Because, I mean, it's a completely different technology. Probably not for the target audience. Was not the generation that was actually the target audience.
They thought so, but I mean, it's like
probably they will need one or two new generations to. They wanted to go so fast, I guess, with this technology.
No, but I think Metaverse also, people didn't really know what Metaverse was.
I don't know. There was not
much
clear.
Nobody knows. A lot of people think they know AI. They don't know AI. They think that they know agentic AI. They don't know agentic AI. And so I don't know what's different, right? What's not different is that the people who are actually materially delivering value.
Yeah.
And they are not recognized. And I think that's the big problem with the industry.
Yeah.
You should be channeling investment to those companies. You should be paying attention and putting a spotlight on those companies, right? Like in the IoT, there are a lot of great companies, a lot of great people doing great things. Got none of the attention because some platform guy was
Yeah.
trying to sell how platforms are going to revolutionize everything. You can scale all this stuff. None of that happened, right? That's just my point.
I think there are a lot of companies that are doing the mundane technologies and hardware out there that are critical for all of this stuff to work on a day-to-day basis that were probably in the noise here at the show because they were just blown away by the volume of hype around AI and everything else that the big guys have been pushing because they have to have that narrative.
Yeah.
But again, all of these are concepts that may or may not get adopted at some point further down into the future that don't address today's current problems that we talked about last year about why are you not fixing the problems we have today, trying to fix the problems we don't know we have for the future.
Yeah.
That still is the same problem here at this show.
And the biggest joke, quite frankly, is that when you go and you watch the keynote, they get up on stage and say, the industry, industry-wide revenue globally is only growing at 4%, which actually is not that bad considering how big the mobile wireless industry and telco industry is. So they never tell you that. 4% increase in communications in absolute terms is bigger than how quickly, as big, maybe slightly less than how fast cloud computing infrastructure services is growing. And I put out a chart about that just to remind the people, look, learn your numbers, right? There's a thing called law of small numbers. There's a law of big numbers. But the joke is when you get up there, you malign your own industry, but you're hyping nonsense that distracts from the efforts that are actually moving the ball, right? That could drive monetization through modernization. You know what I'm saying? It's like all the stuff that we've been talking about on IoT Coffee Talk for going on 7 years now,
I think the other hype, NTN, satellites.
Oh, yes.
Talking to, the little communicator here, right? Will we really use that? Or is that really military oriented for Leo?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's like we've said it before. It's like, what is, how big is the business of connecting the middle of nowhere and somebody living in the middle of nowhere?
Very small.
Looks like SpaceX found that sweet spot with people with low connectivity.
Yeah, I mean, you'd like to think that, but I think they've found a bigger one, helping militaries orchestrate and guide their ordnance.
Right. With all of those satellites that no one knows is up there, that have been launched. They're coordinating a bunch of stuff that we've seen over the last several weeks somewhere out there in the world, right?
Yeah. And they have there's limits to the capacity. So this idea that terrestrial networks are going to go away.
Never go away.
And then, I've heard some really ridiculous arguments that to the effect that terrestrial networks are going to go away.
Right.
And it's like,
no, anyone out there that thinks that should not ever come back to this show because you're too stupid.
Oh my God.
If my phone is talking to a base station that's 200 feet away, why would it want to talk to a base station that's 400 miles up in the sky?
Oh, in some case, 30,000
Yes.
kilometers away.
The network will choose the best signal, which is terrestrially every single day, unless you're in the middle of nowhere and you're going to die. Then you buy
but
the service.
One of the things that I heard about NTN that was pretty common across the board was it's niche.
Yeah.
It's niche.
Just like Iridium was niche. Global Star.
Yeah.
Maritime stuff. You're on a boat and you want connectivity and all these other things.
No. I mean, it's absolutely true. I mean, we're not going to name names. We're not going to give details. If you want to talk to any of us, give us a call if you're a client.
So
You know
what's
what
the
to
trick?
do.
It's very cheap to launch Leo.
No, it's extremely expensive.
Yeah,
Because
But
okay, it's only cheap for Starlink because it can launch a rocket every day. But if you're like the Chinese, if you're like the Chinese who are trying to do a 30,000 satellite constellation, it's going to be extremely expensive because they don't have reusable rockets today.
Yeah.
And
not yet.
not yet.
Working
They
on
will have it eventually. But the issue is when you try to put cellular connectivity, you're putting a base station on the satellite. It's not just a KU, KA band link that it's always been. So all of that stuff adds weight, which means these satellites are heavier and heavier. They need bigger solar panels to do the power consumption of not GPUs in space.
Not yet.
Ouch.
Not yet, or
I don't know if you're going to need it, but weight is everything when you're launching a satellite. So the question becomes, the lifetime of a LEO satellite now, I've heard, is not even the 5 years originally, anticipated. We're down to 3. So every 3 years, you're launching everything that died 3 years previously that you launched. So it is a great market if you make components for the satellites because they'll just die every 3 years. But as a service provider maintaining that network, can you imagine a mobile network dying every 3 years and you had to replace everything?
Better than 6G? AI supercomputers.
Yes. So it's going to be really expensive for a satellite operator to maintain its network in the sky that has a churn of every 3 years.
I'm talking about non-terrestrial satellites in data centers.
In space?
Spain?
That's like
in
big
space. It's going to be LEO or more far away?
It really depends on what they're trying to do, right? I think if it's going to be, it could be at MEO, it could be at GEO, depending on what is it that you're storing and computing up there. And if you're doing it in the LEO, the problem is if you're meshing that many data centers at a low Earth orbit, and you kill a data center every 3 years because the whole satellite dies, it's probably not going to be in LEO or should not be in LEO just because of the finance, right? Of having to kill all your data centers every 3 years and then where are you transferring all the data? Is it going eventually back down to Earth to some little island that's sovereign in the middle of the Pacific Ocean where you don't want anyone to know what data it was that you were running? Up in space, or where do you store all of this information? Because if it's stored on the satellite and the satellite dies, where's the backup? Is it another satellite that just is dying a year later? So everything gets pushed off.
The problem is you still have to answer the question of why all this build out for AI supercomputing data centers. Why, when the monetization in the end market is not there. The demonstrable revolution that everybody had theorized is not materialized. Maybe outside of coding. Coding definitely, like we were talking about before, benefits. Does it wipe out developers? It shouldn't. It should enable developers. And by the way, little hint for those of you who got laid off from a big software company because they told you they laid you off because of AI. Why don't you use that very same AI to build a company and software to take out the company that fired you? Do that. Right?
And you could name that company Revenge.
Yeah. Payback.
It's a bit meta,
Yeah. I mean, so don't worry. You have AI on your side if it's really, really that great. I mean, think about it. You should think of it as an opportunity, not a tragedy in your career. So
channel that anger.
No, but going back to the why to have data centers in space, I think it was in Davos, Elon Musk explaining that the full story is about the energy, right?
Right. Space in a vacuum saves on cooling, right? Because it's cold
And they
in a
can
vacuum.
have unlimited solar energy because it always the sun can power the satellite.
Sometimes there's a thing called the dark side of the earth.
Right, but the other
nighttime.
thing that you have to worry about is this every 10-year solar flare cycle that happens from the sun
Yeah.
that knocks everything out.
There's a thing called cosmic
So
rays and
if the
gamma
cosmic rays,
Actually, there is
you
an
can't
organization.
really shield it 100%. So you have this ultra expensive data center that is massive because you don't have to have water to cool it and all these other things because space is so cold. But then the solar flare comes and takes out your whole system. Then again, where is the backup?
No, there is a complete organization. I don't know if it's United Nations or what, that basically monitors this and just contact. So it's
Right, all of the junk that's up there
yeah.
is
So
tracking everything.
yeah, exactly. So so you as a company who has satellites in space, you need to follow the rules of this organization and move your satellites when they ask you to
Theoretically.
turn them off or.
You're supposed to do that. Do they do that? Not all the time.
I don't know. Yeah,
But I guess
data.
the whole point of the data center space, one of the points is we don't have to worry about water resources on planet Earth to cool it and to maintain the energy. But
Yeah.
think about how many solar panels you would need for a gigawatt in space, and how efficient solar panels are today to enable that. The reason why all of the Starlink satellites for direct to cellular get bigger and bigger is because they need more solar panels to power the base stations that are on there.
Yeah.
And none of them even have a data center yet. So if you're going to even talk about a 100 megawatt data center in space, are you going to need 10,000 square meters of solar panels to create that amount of power to power that data center?
Yeah,
That's
you
gonna
know,
be
but
an issue.
before you even think about all that stuff, it's the question of why.
Yes. Why is it up there?
Why do we need to build all this stuff out? And what is it for?
Just to save resources in the planet. This is what he said. So you can invest this energy to do something.
But why even create that problem to begin with? Is the question,
Yeah.
right? Is it so that people can have cyber girlfriends and boyfriends? Is that, or to do the silly whatever thing that
The video,
like little videos?
Yeah.
Actually, this is interesting. No, we were talking before about this agentic AI, the development thing that says that everyone can build stuff 10x speed. So that means that we will do, in theory, 10x more services to sell. So are we going to be? Is this going to be demand for those services? How are you going to monetize that? I don't think
Exactly.
people it's going to. We're not talking about layoffs or that. We are talking about like if you have 10x more products in the market, how do you sell all of them?
Well, how do you get those products to be visible? We have all these products today. How many of them of the available products that the three of us actually consume that are available on the market today?
Yeah.
And if you exponentially increase the amount of stuff that's out there, then the question becomes, how do you determine what is it that you want to buy as the end person, right? They all look the same supposedly, but maybe one of them is the better product quality of wine or whatever restaurants that we're at. How do we do that filtering to figure out what it is that you actually want to spend your money or time or anything else on?
Yeah. So I just realized that I think this is going to be an hour and 30.
It will get truncated.
This is like no, it won't.
No?
It's a Lex Freeman style marathon. So anyways, we're gonna adjourn for the evening.
So
on this podcast.
why don't we just do a quick couple of point summary of all the stuff for the last hour and plus that we've talked about.
And then one good. And did we do like a bets for next year? Last year?
Oh,
I don't
okay,
know
we
if
could do that. No, we
but
did.
can do
we
that.
did, we
That
did.
can be fun. No?
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right. So my summary of 6G is not going to be about massive MIMO. 6G will be about boring stuff like passive antennas, macro radios. It is a radar. And I don't know what an AI radio is. So if someone can explain that to me, give me a shout out. Because I have no freaking clue what that is.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I pass.
Okay. Yeah.
And I will have less hope next year.
Yeah. I think next year there's going to be a realization that the killer AI is truly ML. The whole agentic thing will play out to dire disappointment, and then people will lean into machine learning because they need to have something coming out of all of this AI hype. But that'll be a tangible thing. And I think this podcast is going to influence the industry to have a better lens on what's important next year.
Actually, all the model monitoring thing, it's something super hot. You want to have all the trace of why the model took that decision during that moment, why that happened. So all these model monitoring makes a lot of sense. You did your homework.
I did.
I will add one last thing. I saw a case study of AI determining if there was retail theft in a store. But the camera clearly showed the person stealing the item. So I'm trying to understand, what is the AI adding on top of what I visually saw with the camera showing me that they put something into their pocket? Is the AI determining, was it an expensive item that person stole? And why would I care what they did in the aisle of the store when there's a choke point of a door where they have to exit, where if I'm going to stick anything, why would it not be at the door to detect what that person stole and put into their pocket? Why not scan to see if there's 16 bottles in the jacket of this person? Why would I care what they took off the shelf in the store when they still have to leave the store somehow?
So you can sell more cameras.
Exactly. So to the camera companies, kudos to you, but I still don't understand the whole anti-theft use of AI.
Yeah. All right, Marc.
And my bet. No, my bet. I forgot to say my bet. And just to go against your bet, I'm gonna say that next year it's all about agentic phones. It's gonna be all about agentic phones. You're gonna have your agentic phone with your own agent running all of your agenda, your emails, and everything. And you're gonna be super proud of it.
Super proud or super creeped out? No, that's a good one.
That's it.
Yeah, I could buy that.
Yeah.
It's just
Not like that.
It's gonna be modest though, I think, which is fine as long as it's safe. That's all that matters.
Well, we will need
Which is
more
really
people
tough.
to understand if it's safe or not.
Yeah.
How are you going to prove it's safe or not?
You don't lose all your money in your bank account.
So you need to check every second hour.
So is AI RAN going to be the next Open RAN?
No, it's going to be the next AI RAN is going to be the next Open RAN Squid
Game.
Yes.
So we're going to start a new chapter of Squid Game.
Squid Game. It's called the AI RAN.
AI RAN. In, on, top, over, whatever.
Yeah. So we're going overboard now. And then also Sovereign is going to be Sovereign plus Defense.
Yeah. That's,
Military is going to get in big with 5G technology, okay, which is different from standards, which is different from what the industry implements, and you need to know the distinction.
Yep.
Just because you use 5G technology doesn't mean that you're using 5G, because you can use 5G technologies for all kinds of things outside of the objectives of what the industry is trying to do.
Right. Commercial communications and other things like that.
So anyways, hey, thanks for listening to this very long, ridiculously long podcast. But this is what you get. This is our tradition. This is how we end MWC, every MWC, with a little bit of vino, some incredible food, in a beautiful hole-in-the-wall restaurant
that you should go to.
You should
because
go
the food
to.
is fantastic.
Yeah, if you don't listen to anything that we say, at least you should
come here and go to this restaurant.
This recommendation, which was made by the IoT giant, is delicioso. So remember to follow NextCurve at www.next-curve.com. Also, Earl Lum at EJL Wireless Research, EJLWireless.com, right?
DJLwireless.com.
Yeah, and then the IoT giant, he's at Edge Impulse. Just call Qualcomm.
and IT Stars. And see you next year.
Yeah, we'll see you next year. Different place, different bad time. But we will see you next year to recap MWC 2027.
Oh my God.
Right? All right. See you guys.